It is no secret that every parent wants the best for their kids, right? We will always try to give them a great head start in life. And in Singapore, many parents have and will move to a whole new property within 1 kilometer of a choice primary school. Now the question is it truly worth it to make a move? Now in this episode of Property Parent, we speak to 6 parents who tell us what they think. Now if you think that the first day of school is only nerve-wracking for the students, think again. Is it worth making a move for your kids?
My son is 5 years old this year, so he will register for primary 1 next year, and the stress and worry is real.
A year before my son's registration, I have to ballot just to volunteer for my son's school.
It is very easy and straightforward for me and my family. All my kids are going to the same school.
For the sake of my son, to get into the choice of our primary school, we moved to a rental unit within 1 kilometer.
My son is nearly 3, still young, right? But we have been planning for 2 years already.
So many of the conversations I have with my friends often surround the topic of choosing and getting into the right school.
How do you find the P1 registration exercise?
Well, it's been pretty intense so far. I've never gone through this process, and I have only just come to realize that there are different tiers in order to get into the school.
At first, I find it confusing, but later I figured out from my clients who actually sell and buy their HDB homes, and that's through their experience. I actually know how to help my sons to register for their primary school.
Okay, so you were telling me that this primary school of choice is actually near your mom's house, right?
Oh yes, but it's not within 1 km, so that's why we had to move to a rental apartment to try the ballot. After moving to this apartment, I'm blessed and lucky enough to get the spot through balloting.
How did you pick the school of choice?
So I want my son to study my formal school, and luckily here we are actually living near the school. I ballot to volunteer for this primary school. There are 43 parents vying for these 11 slots, and I didn't get it. But luckily, I got my son into my formal school, and I can consider myself lucky because it's just 1 minute away from my house.
Well, I think that my son has an inclination towards arts, music, and sports, and therefore I really hope that the school that he goes into will allow him to have the support and exposure into this area of interest.
Did you move or even consider moving, and why?
Well, actually, when I bought my home, I wanted to buy a place that is nearby good neighborhood schools. So basically within 500 meters. So luckily, the home I selected was right smack in the middle of 3 good schools and basic amenities surrounding it. So basically, I didn't really need to select the schools specifically because there were 3 to choose from.
Yes, I'm actually going to move in order to be 1 kilometer to the preferred school for my son. And the thing is, actually, this new location is less convenient work-wise for my husband and I. So I definitely hope that we, get a spot in the school so that at least it will be very convenient for my son, and hopefully he gets to walk to school.
Yeah, so now we are already living near the school. I don't think we can move for even next 10 years, right? What to do?
I'm glad that my current address is a pretty strategic one, so I won't have to move. But I know many of my friends and family members, they actually moved just to get into the right school.
What sticks out to you the most about your experience?
Well, the fact that I'll be moving with no guarantees, so hopefully we get a spot, but if we don't, can you imagine it will be such a nightmare? Because that would mean that we'll be living in a new location that is not convenient to any of us.
Okay, I spend a lot of time on work, therefore I don't have much time to read about it. And moreover, I was a single mom, but I'm so blessed that I was a real estate agent for many years, and I pick up a lot of good information from all my HDB clients. And I think all this information helps me a lot.
Yeah, so there are 2 types of alumni, one with membership, one without. So we got to apply for the membership. Yeah, pay money lah. What to do?
Yeah, you were so good!
Tell us the craziest story you've heard about P1 registration.
Okay, a friend of mine, they moved nearer to the school of choice for their daughter. And then he volunteered to be a traffic controller for the school for a year.
So every single day, he has to be at the school before 7 a.m. every single morning. Well, I really hope that his daughter will appreciate all that he has done for her.
I have a friend, she was not successful during the balloting, so they have no choice. They moved the son to the another choice of primary school. Then next moment, the choice of the school that they want have an opening. They come back after a few months later. But sadly to say, her son was not adapted to this primary school. Okay, so they moved back again. What? So to me, I think that every choice is a risk lah.
Okay, so I have this really close friend of mine, and she lives right next to a prestigious school. So you would think that the fact that she lives right next to such a good school, she would be super happy to be able to apply for that school. But what really happened was that because it's so competitive, she actually applied for a school that's close by to make sure that she'll definitely get a spot, because what she really does not want to happen is that in the event she doesn't get into the prestigious school, she might then be left with a school that is much further away. So that's just what happened.
Any misconceptions of this entire journey that you want to help dispel?
One of the most common misconceptions is that people generally think that some schools are much better than the other, but in my opinion, I don't think any school deserves to be called a not so good school, because you may come across students that are ill-mannered or maybe can cause a bad influence on the children. But this problem persists everywhere. It's not limited to just some neighborhood schools. I mean, we've seen reports coming out of even good schools, isn't it? So to me, all schools are the same.
Primary school is very important in my opinion, but I feel that spend within your limits and also don't stress yourself and your kids too much.
I would say that getting to the right primary school isn't the end all be all. So my sisters and I, we came from a neighborhood school and we loved it. I think what's more important is that we foster the right environment at home, we teach our kids good values, and also I like to promote the curiosity and learning in kids.
And there you have it. You have parents swinging for the fences, charging at hurdles, just to make sure that their kids get started on the right foot. We hope this video has helped you understand a bit more about what to do, the process, and options when it comes to P1 registration in Singapore. In the next few episodes of Property Parent, we'll bring in real estate agents who will tell you a bit more about how you can find the perfect primary school near your home. Till then, keep calm and parent on.